Hi guys, this is video tutorial for NeutrinoParticles editor, and in this tutorial I will continue with rotation section of EmitterGuide. In this section you can control rotation of particles. This rotation has two different modes or options: phased, free, by velocity phased, and by velocity free. The default one and the first one is phased rotation. Phased rotation means all particles look to the camera. So rotation of particles in this space is defined by angle in degrees of rotation around z axis of camera. In this mode you have two subsections: start angle and changing angle. They are pretty similar to subsections of size section. So you have some starting angle for each particle, and then you can specify how this angle should change during particle's life. Start angle can be represented with several distributions like random value. So all particles now randomly rotated from 0 to 360 degrees. Also you can change it to random on graph to make custom distribution, custom random distribution, for example. Now half of particles will be turned on 45 degrees, and some of them, the second half of them, will not be rotated at all. You can also animate this starting angle over emitter time and over system time as well. So I'll change it back to fixed value with 0 starting angle to show how changing angle section works. It has three modes. None means particles don't rotate. Steady mode means all particles are rotating with some speed all the time. So we have a value which defines speed of changing rotation angle. By default it is 90 degrees per second. We can change it to random value from minus 360 to 360, and all particles will randomly rotate with random speed and different directions. You can also change it to random on graph, which allows you to make custom random distribution. By default it makes half of particles rotate with speed minus 90 degrees and the second half with plus 90 degrees. Also you can change this rotation speed over particle life or over particle time, so it's not really will be not really steady rotation, because speed can change during particles life or time or emitter time or system time or even over particle speed. So I will not show all of them now. Um, so I suggest to play with them by yourself, and we will move to angle from graph, changing angle from graph. In this mode you simply have several graphs um, where you can specify angle, rotating angle, which will be added to start angle. You can make over particle life graph, or particle time, particle speed, emitter time, or system time. By default you can see that over particle life set, and the graph looks like this. So rotation angle of particle will decrease to minus 45 degrees, and then up to 45, and then it will get back to 0. By my experience I can say that not much effects use this type of changing angle, because here you have some kind of hard control of that angle. So let's move to second rotation mode, free mode. This mode differs from phased, that particles don't rely on camera position and have its own customly set rotation axis in the space. Here we have two start angle and changing angle to the same subsections, and one additional subsection which defines rotation axis. By default it is random vector, random rotation axis, random vector in the space. So if we say set up starting angle to random value from 0 to 360, we can see that all particles now rotated around their own random rotation axis in the space. If you add some changing angle like steady rotation with random value from minus 360 to 360, we will have randomly rotating particles in this space. Also we can fix rotation axis, change it to custom, and here we can by default it is z-axis. We can change it to any we want, like y-axis, and all particles now rotating around y-axis. And also we can set this rotating axis as different representations and different distributions. So it can be random again, it can be random on graph, so some particles, for example, one half of particles will rotate around y-axis and the second half will rotate around x-axis. You can change this axis over particle life or particle time, even over particle speed, and of course over emitter time and system time. It's pretty useful rotation type because a lot of effects use this type of rotation. And the next one, by velocity phased mode, it is not less useful and allows you to rotate particles by velocity vector. So the particles will be rotated by some side to the speed direction. By default, this side is right side x-axis, and you can rotate them with top side to the speed direction velocity vector. So you need to change to y-axis. Uh, because of velocity vector is actually three-dimensional vector, and in this mode particles always look to the camera like billboards. Actually, particles will not just look um, to the velocity vector, but they will strive to look, strive to rotate to that velocity vector. But this mode guarantees that all particles are always rotated, always look to the camera. So let me set some texture to show you how rotating with different sides work. Now all particles rotated to the speed direction with its right side, there's right side x-axis, and we can direct them with top side y-axis. And the last mode of rotation is by velocity free. In this velocity free mode, you select two particles axes, like x plus y, x plus z, where first of them always directed in the same direction as velocity vector has, and the second axis tries to be the one which is specified below. So each particle strive to rotate in that way to have the second axis as closer as it possible to the specified soft axis. It is pretty complex, I know, I understand, but again, let's look closer to current particles, to current effect. We have velocity axis, hard axis x, so all particles directs their right side x-axis to the velocity vector, and y-axis, top side, always trying to be y world axis. So all particles tries to rotate vertically. They are upside down because y-axis looks down. So we can change that couple of axes to x plus z, or z plus y, and all particles will fly, will direct their z-axis to the velocity vector, and y-axis still tries to be vertical one. So I suggest you to play with these settings by yourself to get used a little. So that's it for this tutorial. You saw how rotation section work in the emitter guide. Next sections will be color, transparency, and texture grid. So thank you. Bye.